Aristotle once said, "The whole is greater than the sum of its parts." Mikel Arteta, after three consecutive Premier League runners up finishes, was learning this the hard way. Silver medals are lovely, they're also the consolation prize of football, the participation trophy for those who almost mattered, the cinematic sequel that everyone agrees was good, but not quite as good as the original. Three times a bridesmaid, never a bride. Arsenal was stuck in their own personal Groundhog Day, waking up each season with renewed optimism, only to find themselves in second place again, staring at confetti that wasn't meant for them, applauding champions they were supposed to be. Bill Murray at least had Andy McDowell waiting at the end. Arsenal had another January transfer window. Something had to change, not just tactically, spiritually. Arteta's response was bold. 8 new signings, reinforced depth, a toughened mentality. But sometimes, the most transformative decisions aren't the loudest ones. They don't arrive with press conferences or shirt holding photo opportunities. Sometimes, as Dumbledore wisely observed, help will always be given to those who ask for it. Arteta asked, and from 20 years in his past walked in Gabriel Heinze, part coach, part enforcer, part force of nature in a tracksuit. This was no ordinary appointment. This was a reunion forged in the cold, grey winter of Paris 2001. Two young footballers, one shy and elegant, one ferocious and relentless, thrown together at PSG under manager Luis Fernandez, in a dressing room that also housed Ronaldinho, Pochettino, JJ Okocha, and Nicolas Anelka. Essentially, the Avengers. If the Avengers wore red and blue and had considerably stronger opinions about defensive positioning. Arteta was just 18. He had left Spain, left the familiar comfort of home, and arrived in a basic Parisian hotel during winter. Grey skies, small room, plenty of silence. If that sounds like the opening of a coming-of-age film, it practically was. The introverted teenager, far from everything he knew, needing someone to believe in him before he could fully believe in himself. Pochettino, the experienced Argentine, played the wise father figure. Heinze, 4 years older, ferociously competitive, became the fiery older brother who'd fight anyone who looked at you wrong. As Tolkien wrote in The Fellowship of the Ring, "Not all those who wander are lost." Arteta was wandering through Paris, finding himself. Heinze was the compass. Their bond was immediate and instinctive. Edouard Cissé, who partnered Arteta in PSG's midfield, described it with effortless clarity. They were both intense and passionate. Gabby gave everything, even in training. Mikel was calmer, but you knew not to rub him up the wrong way. He had that tough Basque edge. Think of them as football's answer to Sherlock and Watson. One brilliantly cerebral, one magnificently explosive, and together, utterly formidable. Cisse extended the volcano metaphor that has become almost legendary. Arteta erupts occasionally. Heinze erupts all the time. If Arteta is Mount Etna, powerful, strategic, erupting with devastating precision, then Heinze is Krakatoa after 3 double espressos. And that, paradoxically, is exactly what Arsenal needed. As Nietzsche argued, great leaders don't just need vision, they need controlled chaos. They need someone to carry the heat so they don't burn themselves out. In Good Will Hunting, Robin Williams told Matt Damon something quietly profound. It's not your fault. At Arsenal's training ground, Heinze is delivering the opposite energy entirely. It absolutely is your fault. Now do it again with more intensity, more precision, and maybe a little more fear of me. Different motivational philosophies, same destination, excellence. The evidence is in the numbers. Arsenal were already the finest defensive unit in England. Under Heinze's obsessive, detail-driven watch over the backline, they've grown even more resolute. A man who won league titles in France, England, and Spain, earned 72 Argentina caps and made nearly 400 club appearances. Heinze doesn't ask for respect. He accumulated it across 2 decades of blood, tackles, and sheer indomitable will. And yet, Beneath all the tactical sophistication, the data analysis, the carefully constructed modern football machine, Arsenal's most powerful ingredient remains the oldest in human history: trust. Seneca wrote, "He who does not trust cannot be trusted." Arteta trusts Heinze with something no signing fee can replicate: his vision, his dressing room, his dream. Not because a spreadsheet recommended it, because a Parisian winter in 2001 already settled the question permanently. Former manager Fernandes captured it perfectly. The strength of a manager lies in his ability to surround himself with people he trusts completely. Batman had Alfred, Frodo had Samwise, Rocky had Mickey screaming in his corner, and Arteta has Heinze, loyal, ferocious, borderline obsessive in the most glorious way, ready to drag this team across the finish line through sheer force of brotherhood if he has to. The Premier League title has eluded Arsenal for over 2 decades. Empires have risen and fallen. Rohi Delap has retired, and his son Liam is now playing at Chelsea. Entire generations of Gooners have grown old waiting. But as the season accelerates towards its defining climax, two men reunited by memory, trust, and a shared hunger are writing what might finally be the greatest chapter in the club's modern story. Because as they say, every volcano eventually erupts.